Welcome back everybody to week 90 of my reboot progression series. In this video I want to talk about the newly introduced 6-shop skill Soul Janus and specifically focus on the Soul Janus Dusk variant right here. I've been utilizing this skill the past couple of days and honestly after flying under the radar for a bit, this skill kinda blew me away on how it works, right? In a positive and in a negative sense, and we're gonna get into that in just a second. Yeah, that's basically what this video will be about. I will be, going into a little bit of detail on how this skill works, give you my pros, my cons, and we'll end things with a couple of map recommendations, so you really have a good grasp on how and why and where you should utilize this specific skill right here. To start things off, you can see in the bottom right corner I have it mapped to my hotbar right there, and you can see it is triggering over and over again. Every 3 seconds I get a new proc of the Soul Janus Dusk lightning attack, I would say, right? Erda lightning attack, whatever, right? You can also notice when I'm not attacking, nothing's happening, right? So if I were to just use a skill, you can see, boom, it goes off cooldown and just triggers and does its attack, right? Per attack, it will try to aim for 9 mobs at level 1, 10 mobs at level 15, and 11 mobs at level 30 Soul Janus. Realistically speaking, you're getting like 99% of the utility at level 1. So, how am I exactly utilizing this skill, right? So, you can see again, I am attacking, it procs once, but this doesn't full clear any map, right? And the goal with Soul Janus is to find a somewhat stationary rotation that enables you to get 2 procs of Soul Janus and defeat the rest of the mobs per wave with, whatever skills you have to offer, right? So if I were to kill the top row mobs here with just, one attack, boop, you can see I get 1 proc of Soul Janus and that's it. But I also would like to get a second proc, so Soul Janus, defeats even more mobs during that wave. So let me just get into the flow right here, see the mobs respawn, and did it already respawn? No, the mobs respawned. I get 1 proc of Soul Janus, and then I'll trigger Soul Janus again by defeating this mob right here, and there we go. We had 2 procs of Soul Janus, which meant that, this skill on its own defeated 9 times 2 mobs, and I cleared the mobs here at the top. Meaning, this skill makes it incredibly easy to nearly full clear every map. And that is also kind of the gripe of this whole skill, is that it only enables you to nearly full clear maps, and there's no real way to consistently full clear a map, which is, by the way, not a great issue. Another really nice thing that I've noticed here is that I don't have to personally attack the mobs, right? I can use summon attacks like these fireballs right here, which stay around for quite a while, and they will trigger Soul Janus for me, basically. So I don't have to use any of my skills and plan out which mobs am I gonna kill when in order to really get these 2 procs. I can just willy-nilly chug out a couple of these short cooldown summons and I will, more or less clear the maps just by randomly attacking stuff. What I really dislike about this skill is, even though some classes, like for example Blaze Wizard right here, have the possibility to just stand in one spot and throw out skills and keep triggering Soul Janus like this over and over again, I cannot do that, because after roughly 45 seconds of not inputting any arrow keys, Soul Janus Dusk just stops working entirely, right? I can continuously attack mobs, but it will just say, nope, you're probably cheating, and I will refuse to do any more work for you. Which is, in my opinion, incredibly annoying that, some sort of anti-cheat, anti-abuse mechanic comes in the way of, just normal gameplay right here. As you can see, I'm still attacking, right? I'm still clearing mobs, but I'm not getting any more Soul Janus procs right now because I haven't moved. And if I were to just input like right, left, boop, you can see immediately it starts to work again. And that's honestly my biggest gripe with this skill, to be honest. I've gotten used to it, and it's something that is not really that difficult to overcome, right? But it just would have been nice if I could have just, used this really stationary rotation. I don't want to go on about this too much right here, but I think you'll get the message that there are some incredibly good upsides about, using this skill. First of all, I only have to place down one summon instead of two, and it does a great job at actually clearing the mobs here, with honestly not a lot of effort at all. So like I said initially in the beginning of the video, I will also be showcasing a couple of generic rotations that you can utilize for yourself, and the best tool for this has become maplemaps.net, right? And we'll be specifically focusing on the familiar farming maps right here in Cernium and Burnium, right? So in order to figure out which maps to go to, you have the table right here, and you can just filter for yourself. Okay, I want to grind in Cernium, and what I would do is I would just order by mobs per hour here and just go to the maps that have the highest mob count. So you can see, and honestly, in my opinion, Cernium only has one map with 18k mobs, and therefore Cernium only has one map that is really viable, and I would not even look into any of the other maps besides Cernium, Western City Ramparts 3. And for Burnium, you're gonna see a similar story. It's gonna be only 3 maps that I consider to be viable to go to, which is Eastern City 3, and then Burning Library 3 and 6. So now before we dive into any of these 4 maps, I just want to highlight the config button here at the very top of the page, where you can enter your specific EXP multipliers, etc. So you will be enabled to actually have a somewhat accurate vision of how much EXP you will be making in any of these maps here. So starting off with the first map in Cernium right here. This is the map, this is the last map on the west, and if I scroll down here, I've already entered my personal rates using the Soul Janus Dusk skill. I'm able to make 17k mobs in this map, which lands me on rank 4 between any of these maps. If you want to check out the rotation, here you go. Oh yeah, this is huge. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. For me, I would place Erda Fountain here on the right. It is triple plating comfortably, and if you're just standing here in or on the middle platform and just use skills left and right, you will be able to basically full clear the map, minus that one mob right here on the lower right. And if you move a little bit to the right yourself, there's also one mob on the left that will spawn and probably wander off to the left and will never be able to be reached by Soul Janus if you don't go out of your way and kill it yourself, right? So that's why this map is only on rank 4. Then next up we have the Burning Library section 6 for me. I do get 17,360 mobs an hour in this map, and if you want to check out the rotation with Soul Janus, it is looking like this. Again, I'm placing down the fountain out of the way where the Dusk skill wouldn't normally reach, and I just place myself on one of the platforms, attack left and attack right, and always try to make sure that I actually get 2 procs of this skill, right? Again, you can see there are 2 mobs right here on the upper platform on the right that I'm not hitting with either Fountain or Soul Janus, which only makes this map rank on 3rd place for me. Next up, let's actually take a look at the 2 winners right here. On rank 2, I would say for me personally, we have the Library 3. I am personally reaching 17.8k mobs an hour in this map with the following rotation. You can see again, This is the map that I also showcased in the intro of this video, right? Where I was just standing around on the upper platform right here with Fountain on the left side, and you can see all the mobs right here are being cleared by Soul Janus or Fountain, which, you know, makes this map extremely nice. And on the first place, we have the Eastern City Rampants in Battle 3, where I reach 90 mobs more than in the previous map, and I think that's well within the measuring error of the 6-minute battle analysis tests that I made. So for me personally, I don't mind going to either of these maps, and I've decided whenever I get one useful familiar in one of the maps, I will switch it up and continue grinding in the other map until I hit another cool familiar, and that's basically the whole methodology of why you've been seeing me train in Library 3 instead of Eastern City 3. If I were to want to utilize the Soul Janus Twilight variant for the skill, I also have rotations for all of these already planned out for myself. So if I were to, you know, just take a look at that, you can see I'm already planning with having 2 Twilight variants of the skill here on the map in order to full clear with 3 summons basically, right? And yeah, honestly, placing more summons is more of a hassle, and I would also need to kind of up jump cast this skill in order to reach the top platform right here. So from a convenience standpoint, Soul Janus Dusk is probably going to be better until I reach Twilight level 30, where the summon duration goes up to a full 2 minutes, and I would be able to just skip out on the Fountain, and I would be able to just get a third Soul Janus out and place it roughly right here. And, you know, this is probably the worst map that I could have picked to showcase this, but this would mean that I only would need to go loot every 2 minutes instead of every 1 minute. But at the same time, you would need Soul Janus level 30, which, you know, takes like 4 months of actively just grinding 4 hours a day, which is definitely quite the challenge for, I imagine, many players, right? And yeah, that should already do the trick for this video. If you're wondering what my current plans are in terms of leveling Soul Janus, in terms of grinding for familiars, right now, at this moment, if you put a gun to my head and ask me what is your plan, I would say I will be grinding in Eastern City 3 and Burning Library 3 until Soul Janus is level 30, and then I'll move on to bigger and better maps in my then level range, right? Roughly, I think I'm gonna be level 275 in like 50 days, something like that, right? And at that stage, the XP and the meso is gonna be slowing down from here considerably, and then I think it would be time to reconsider what I will be doing here. But, you know, that's still over a month, nearly 2 months away until I really have to make this decision. And until then, I'm honestly kind of happy just farming it out right here. I've read on the Reddit that you get a boss familiar, you know, with 30% or better roughly every 140 hours of grinding. In my tracker, it says that I still have over 340 hours of grinding left in order to get Soul Janus to level 30, so that roughly, you know, equates to 2 boss familiars, maybe. Let's hope for the best, actually. And I know for some this might sound insane, but honestly, I just like grinding. And yeah, that's also why I'm just going with the Soul Janus Max first play. For others this would be trolling, right? But honestly, I'm completely content with this plan right now at this moment. I can, you know, do my weekly bossing, I can continue to do Black Mage, and then in 4 months I will be so much closer to finishing my liberation. And honestly, I am not sure if I even would want to do hard bosses like Carling or hard Saren before I'm liberated, because, you know, Blaze Wizard is somewhat relying on the iframe in order to, you know, confirm the burst, which is, it's a shame, right? But that also means that I have like 7 months ahead of me where I can basically do whatever before I really, you know, kind of need to take this seriously, right? I'm taking my video games seriously. Oh no. Okay, that should do the trick for this week's episode. I'll see you around next Thursday. Members get early access to all my episodes, and with that out of the way, thank you so much for watching, and take care everybody. Bye bye.